Hi, my name is Rosalie Nathan, and I wanted to talk about my mother. Her name was Bala Kistner. Her maiden name was Bala Kistner, and she lived in Poland before the war, before World War II. She had a very nice life, very happy family, just typically about what you'd expect. But that all came to an end when the Nazis started, I guess, sending people away. Her family was threatened. They were locked up in the house, and finally she and her sisters were taken away. But my mother volunteered to go, and they were able to stay back. So it was a very self-sacrificing thing to do, but it ended up saving her life because instead of going to a concentration camp, she went to a labor camp in Czechoslovakia. She was there, I think, 3 or 4 years, and after the war, she went back to her home, but of course nothing was left. She lost 70 members of her family and was absolutely devastated when she got there. During the time that she was in a labor camp, it was turned into a concentration camp, and things got very bad after that. My mother happened to be sick at the end of the war. She had a very bad kidney infection, and normally that would mean the end because if people couldn't be productive, they were not going to be tolerated. However, I think the commandant or whatever it's called of the camp had some kind of paternal feeling towards her. So he let her be in the infirmary a lot longer than normally people would be. And then she got out at the end of the war. She couldn't even walk at that point. She met my father, and 6 weeks later they got married. She constantly says, well, things were so different then. But they were, they didn't have a past anymore, and they needed to have a future. So they were happily married for a long time. My father also was a survivor of the Holocaust, but I don't know too much about his story. My mother always talked about it. My father just hardly ever mentioned it. I have a sister, and she actually has been with my mother during different lectures that my mother's given in high schools and middle schools. And she has gotten the most beautiful letters from students who have heard her that have said things like, "You've changed my life forever." And she felt it was her duty to do that. And anyway, my mother was the best person I've ever known and the best person I ever expect to know. And I'm honored to be her daughter.